Hello, welcome to another episode of Disruption Talks, where we invite top experts to discuss digital acceleration, winning strategies, innovation, and scaling products. My name is Jakub Wajda, and I'm commercial director at Netguru with professional experience in real estate and proptech industry. So I'm proud to host our special guest today, Adi Pavlović, who is the co-founder and the CEO of Newzip. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Adi. Thank you for having the time for us to talk about the collaboration for faster AI experiments to bring the innovations relevant to the real estate industry. So to kick off this session, Adi, could you tell us what problem does your business solve?
Yeah, so the real problem our business solves is high transactional costs. So here in America, the real estate transaction in most of the world is the most expensive purchase people make. And the transactional costs are abnormally high. The research here in the States indicates that over 50% of people cry at least once during the real estate transaction. So if you think about it, it's the largest transaction people make. It's the most painful one we make. And so Newzip exists to solve that. And the way we solve that is by centralizing the real estate experience and bundling mortgage with real estate and other ancillary services, usually work with 7 to 8, into one centralized experience that creates cost efficiency. And we save customers about $3,500 per transaction.
Great. So, based on your United States experience, if you could tell us how important is experimentation for the Newzips to answer to the specific US, needs and the space that you are working with.
Yeah, the real estate industry is massive. It's also been historically referred to as like antiquated. It's very hard to innovate and create new experiences in real estate. It's very capital intensive. It's geographically, difficult to have a product that serves all 50 states because all 50 states have their own kind of regulatory constraints about the transaction. And then obviously we have to take in consideration like the CFPB and RESPA compliance to do what we do. So I say that just to indicate it's a very massive problem. And the challenges are not just about the technology. It's about adoption. It's about engagement. And it's also about the compliance hurdles you have to overcome to build software in the real estate space, which makes it a really, a high barrier to entry per se. And so when you're experimenting, it's really difficult to do that to be conscious of all these other things, right? The different personas, the different state requirements, different regulatory hurdles. And so for us, it's always, we try to be mindful of how do we test things? How do we do it in a compliant way? And how do we build that kind of lean startup mentality, right, as innovators into this industry that is a little rigid and difficult. And so it requires a really strong team to have the subject matter expertise, which we're fortunate to have, of folks who've worked in the industry for decades, that understand the complexity of it, and then how to leverage, some of the A/B testing, some of the technology we're building to, launch an MVP, iterate, and scale quickly. Every industry has its own challenges, but that's kind of what we have to navigate in real estate or prop tech.
Understandable. And how did you go about integrating AI into your processes, and how do you leverage such a large data sets?
Yeah, the great thing about real estate, there's a ton of data about it. When we think about residential real estate, what the US has is the MLS infrastructure has created a really robust database. Now, it's not normalized, there's challenges with it, but globally, this is actually pretty great situation to be in, where we have data on every single property that's available for sale. Yes, it's not always clean, it's not always perfect, but like compared to most of the world, it's actually really sophisticated. And so for us, it's the quantitative data about properties is pretty solid. Like Zillow exists and they have a ton of data, so does Redfin, and they really you can learn everything you want about a home before you buy it. It's really, when you look at the consumer research, it's the soft data. It's what's it like to live in that neighborhood, school zones, crime, and walkability scores, like all these things exist. But fundamentally, what's it like to live in this physical space requires a lot of qualitative data. And I think with AI, what it really empowers this vertical to do is kind of bridge the gap between, okay, we have all this data about the demographics and the crime rates and the walkability scores in this neighborhood. What does that really mean to me as an individual? And that's really been hard to solve without humans, right? So that's why 90% of people use real estate agents. That's why we have a team of licensed home advisors. They're actually licensed realtors who are W-2 employees of Newzip to interact with our customers, because that knowledge has always been a combination of quantitative and qualitative. And then how do you personalize that? You need humans. And so I think with AI, where we're really excited is about solving that problem of understanding everything you need to know about a specific geo, but having data that makes sense and is personalized to you. And so when we set out to look at different ways we can utilize AI in the real estate industry, for us it became very clear that, hey, like, it's hit a ceiling in terms of the data consumers have. In fact, they're overwhelmed. Now, how do we synthesize that data and make it relevant to them and their financial situation, right? Because it is the largest transaction people make. And so working with lenders and financial institutions, that allows us to collect some reasonable data about their financial sophistication, or like the financial profile, if you may. And then we use that data to generate their real estate profile. And here's the neighborhoods you can afford, right? Based off of the things you've told us that are important, here's where we think is best fit for you, or which homes are best fit for you. And so really, if you zoom out, what we're really trying to do is, the impact AI is having on the consumer experience is it's changing search. Search is becoming proactive versus reactive. If you go on Google or any search portal now, usually the top result is AI generated, right? It's trying to answer your specific question instead of being dependent on third parties, so you can go out and find it yourself. We anticipate the same thing is going to happen in real estate, where you want some information about something specific. We're just going to give it to you. You don't have to go browse and scroll and click on 1,000 links to find out what you need. We should know exactly what you want and give you the interface to ask that question. And so that's what we're really excited about building. And Netguru has helped us build kind of the back end infrastructure to allow us to do that and scale that.
Happy to hear that, truly. And when you think about the entire collaboration, so what was important to you when you work with Netguru? What did you value the most?
Yeah, the challenge we have a strong technical team. My background's in product. I've built a lot of software in this space, so it wasn't necessarily around the skill set. It was more or less on the bandwidth. When you're running an early stage company, especially in the difficult macroeconomic climate we're operating in right now, for us, it's really important to be focused. We can't get distracted by shiny objects. We can't build features that consumers don't use. And so the spirit of experimentation, what it does is it puts these guardrails up that kind of constrain you a little bit to do what moves the business forward. And so for us, it was really important to continue to invest in R&D and innovation, because that's our genetics, that's our DNA. But have a partner that can also help us with the bandwidth issue, because we have over 40 clients on the Newzip platform. They have feature requests, they have things that they want us to build and improve with the core products we have today, but we also want to continue to push the needle forward from what we're already doing. And so for me, it was about trusting a partner that I've worked with before to help us kind of help focus on R&D, because we're so busy focused on core and growing the business. And so that was at the foundation. That's really what it was. It was trusting someone who has the technical experience, who has the industry experience working in proptech, and then to say, hey, here's a few ideas we have. Can you help us explore these and build an MVP we can go out and test? And we're essentially on like version 3. We just deployed version 3 beginning of this year of that MVP that continues to get better and better.
Happy to hear that you saw us as a trusted partner, truly. And because we understand from the early beginning that being the innovator means being the educator, and you are bringing the great role and the fantastic speed going through the US market. And as we understand it, you are still going in the direction of becoming the one-stop shop, right?
That's the idea when you think about what we're really trying to solve. So right now, we're kind of the connective tissue between real estate and mortgage. 90% of people in our industry work with both. They get a mortgage, and so they work with a loan officer, and then they work with the realtor to find the house. Usually those are two totally distinct, separate experiences on two different tech stacks that don't communicate with each other. So really the thesis behind Newzip was, hey, what if you could do both of those things in one place? So you go and get pre-qualified, pre-approved, and then we can match you with an agent best fit for you right there in the same experience. Like, why would you leave and have it disjointed? Now, some people already have an agent. Some people, their brother-in-law is an agent. But a lot of folks out there don't, and it is really difficult for them to start and to find a good agent. So we help them do that, and by doing that, we actually leverage the unit economics of the industry to save them money on their agent. So we offer a 50 bip saving on the buy side, 100 bip saving on the sell side. And really what that is, we're collecting a referral fee from the realtor because we're working with you as a customer. We're getting you qualified. We're getting you ready to tour properties. As soon as you're ready, we match you with an agent. That agent, historically in the market, pays a flat 30-35% referral fee. We collect the same market fee, and then we split that with the customer. And so really we're leveraging unit economic models to create cost savings and efficiency for everyone. We're decreasing the marketing budgets of the agents, right? They're always looking for new consumers and leads. So we're bringing them those. We're saying, hey, what's your CAC for that? Now we're going to split that CAC with the consumer, right? And so we built a really strong business model to say, hey, we can save you on the realtor. Now, can we do the same with title, insurance, warranty, appraisal, all of the other things you need to do to complete a real estate transaction? And so that's where we get excited about, well, if we can do the same model on all of those other services, then you can bring the concept of bundle and saving, which is very popular in travel, in auto, and insurance, right? Consumers are very used to bundle and saving concepts. It's really hard to do in real estate because of the regulatory constraints of RESPA. No one party is incentivized to do that. It's very tricky for them and very cost incentive for them to make money in the right way. And so we think about that and said, hey, why don't we build a software platform that does all this, that is RESPA compliant? And we're working with the best RESPA attorneys in the country to make sure, like us as a little startup, everything we do is compliant, but it's also pushing the envelope on the customer experience when it comes to the real estate transaction. And so that's what we mean by like a centralized real estate experience. It's a relatively new concept to both the industry vendors and consumers, but there's some really big brands in the US who are building this in-house. Rocket Mortgage or Rocket.com is probably the biggest. And they've been example, and they've been one of the fastest growing mortgage lenders in the last 10 years. And so really we said, hey, if every lender can't afford to build that themselves, why not build a platform to democratize that and offer it to the rest of the industry?
That's the clear path that first thing you have in your core, in your focus, the client, because you are totally client centric and thinking about all the improvements or the add-ons into your the near future of your roadmap. That's something special. I believe that your clients will gain the value from each part of the heart that you bring to your software.
The challenge we have, just to touch on that real quick, is for anyone out there who's in proptech listening to this, the biggest challenge with this industry is really distribution. There's a ton of consumers out there, but getting in front of them is very competitive. The CAC's really high just because it's a very saturated market. And so really to innovate in proptech, we always think about B2B2C or even fintech. Like, how do you enable lenders, banks, credit unions, realtors to elevate their game, elevate their experience? And so everything we built is really B2B2C. We're mission driven around the customer experience, like less tiers and like more savings. But at the same time, in order for us to facilitate that, we have to build the infrastructure for these large corporations to offer this customer experience. And so at heart of it, we build B2B software, we build B2C software, we package that into a platform. Large players who offer these great services. The mortgage product is one of the best financial instruments in the world, I believe. But how do we empower them to take that beyond just a pre-approval letter? Here's a letter, good luck, right? Call me when you find the house. And so building that end-to-end real estate experience, we believe, starts there. And then we can be the technical partner to elevate that.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And Adi, what are you, especially you, excited about the most when it comes to AI and the real estate?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think just like every other vertical, there's a lot of exciting opportunities. For me, we're such a data-rich vertical, and access to that data has become readily available and accessible. And so the industry is actually, through the big data product trend of, I don't know, what was that, like 15 years ago now? That was the foundation to say, okay, everyone's doing big data, everyone's trying to normalize and create these large data sets that are smarter than they were before. And now we finally have the mechanism to leverage that data at a scale and cost never seen before. Like, it's super affordable to now manipulate that data and create value to the consumer, right? And so I think with AI, what I'm really excited about, we talk about the feature and the shiny objects and the voice and the image and all that stuff. But for me, it's just like the cost implementation or implications, I should say, of building some of the software has materially gone down and continues to go down. Like, we're in an era where every month there's news about improvements or new models coming out or GPU processing coming out. So for us, it's just exciting as a startup to say, oh, we don't have to go build a pod of 10 engineers and a product manager to go solve this. We could actually do this really quickly and very affordable. And so it's just a really exciting time to build as an entrepreneur right now, because you have access to these tools. The market could probably be oversaturated right now because there's like it's a buzz and but that's okay. Like, it'll normalize and it'll stabilize and the best products will survive. But if you're building software, you've never had a menu item like you have today of tools you can leverage for low cost to like create some really cool experiences for consumers.
That's true. That's each week brings something new to the table, especially in the AI space. And when you are in this wave of such the changes, when you plan your growth, what's ahead of the Newzip?
Yeah, that's a great question. For us, it's about personalization. We really think with all the things I said, so I'm not like a broken record of like the data and understanding the consumer experience. And once you understand their financial profile and their motivations, right? Once you jump on a call and talk to them, that's still, like, by the way, you still can't replace that. Talking to a human is very important. It is the best part of our customer experience. All our customers, majority of them, want to talk to someone who understands the real estate market. That's why we have a team of loan advisors. And so for us, it's taking that experience and then creating like dynamic personalization. So, kind of like how if you go to a hotel and everyone knows your name and there's a place card on your bed and a little tree, like, oh, it's a nice, that's a luxury hotel experience, right? That's not your typical hotel experience, but they personalize that a little bit. Disney does this to an extreme. Like, you're at the theme park, they know what you like, they know your allergies, like they'll tailor it to you. So I think the whole world is moving in that regard. And for us, it's like, how do we bring that to real estate? How do we make it like everyone you work with is going to know your name, know your situation, know what you're looking for, and they're going to create the best real estate experience. So we can take those 50% of people who cry and help them help them feel better about this very stressful transaction they're about to go through. And so for us, it's leveraging some of the things we've built. It's continuing to get smarter about our consumers, and then just to create delight around the entire experience so that they tell their friends about this experience that, today we have a 90 net promoter score. It's already high. It's already good. We know we can make it better. But it's also like the cost savings we're giving the consumer. Can we save them more? And these are the things we care about. And these are the things we think startups should care about when they're building consumer-facing software.
Okay, thanks for that. And Adi, can you share some tips for our audience for the good collaboration on software projects? And how to get it right?
There's two things that come to mind. Is one, like, get to know the team. I think one of the things I've always enjoyed working with Netguru is the role of the project manager is someone to be the glue between all the different parties, right? Whether it's engineering, design, QA. I always think it's really important to build trust and a relationship with that individual where you're communicating daily, where they feel like they're an extension of your team. It's not just someone you're throwing tasks over the fence and waiting for them to get done. Like, the tighter you can kind of bring the team in, help them understand your problems as a company and as a team. Like, hey, here's what we're strong at, here's where we're weak at. I think that's really important. And two is, I identifying issues very quickly. Hey, this isn't working, or this, we have a staffing issue, like the velocity is slow or the quality is bad. Like being upfront with that is okay. Like I think a lot of people are scared. They say, hey, I'm going to work with this third party. Oh, I don't really like the output, so this didn't work out for me. And it's like, well, why don't you just tell them that as soon as you identify it, and you can fix it, you can solve it. And like, everything is not easy, and it's not going to be perfect and simple. Like you have to try, both sides have to try, two parties have to tango. And so my advice, anyone looking to collaborate with a partner like Netguru, is like get to know them, like bring them in, and then allow them to bring you in, because getting that trust and relationship off the bat is really important. And two, like if things don't work, identify it quickly and solve it. And if you do those two things really well, you're gonna have a good experience. At least historically, in my experience, that's how it's worked out.
Thanks for that. And I have another tricky question. If you were to encourage the decision makers to experiment with AI more boldly, what would you say?
More boldly? I mean, I feel like everyone's being pretty bold out there. I think as a nonconformist, one of the things I struggle with is it's a very copycat industry. And AI is kind of turning into that, is where, everyone's creating AI agents for payment or processing or tasks. So let me create an AI agent, right? And before that, it was like, let me, create my own LLM or manipulate and build my own model using an open source LLM. So like, one, I think like open source is probably going to be the best solution moving forward. Like it's just going to scale more quickly than some of these independent models. So I'm excited for that. But two, I just encourage people, just don't just copycat what somebody else did. Like everyone's doing that right now, and that's okay. Like that's how new innovations mature. We're going through that early adoption curve right now, but to really just challenge people to think about, okay, you don't have to be an expert in AI. Like we don't call ourselves an AI company. We use AI. We use AI quite a bit. Consumers actually don't love to hear AI. Like it's oversaturated. They're hearing AI all the time, and actually research has indicated they trust it less. Just like because the industry's we threw blockchain at them 5-10 years ago, and they're like, oh, I don't know what that is. And like, right, you don't have to advertise these things. You just create delightful experiences, and then use AI to do it. And you don't have to shout off the rooftop that you're using AI. You don't have to copy what other AI solutions are. So if you're thinking about leveraging AI technology, I would just encourage you to be original, think through what the problem is to the consumer. You probably have the subject matter expertise to leverage that technology in a way that other people don't. That's your strength. The AI tools are going to grow and evolve and change. The vendors you use are going to grow, evolve, and change. Like that is a fact. What's not going to change is the consumer problem you're trying to solve. And so just to be mindful about that, and don't throw AI stuff that AI doesn't have to be thrown at. We've made that mistake, and I'm sure everyone is now, like especially in experimentation mode. But just to be conscious of that, save yourself the time and the headache, because the target's moving right now. So trying to nail it down and claim that this is like the best AI product does X, I think is a little short-sighted.
Mm-hmm. Great, Adi. So thanks a lot for your perspective. We're slowly going to the end of our time for this session. So that was brilliant, this discussion truly. And thank you, Adi, for your perspective and sharing your view of sweet spot about the value of experimentation and collaboration to bring the tangible results to the market, because that's the overall idea. And frankly speaking, we are proud that Netguru could be the part of this journey, your journey, and we keep our fingers crossed for the further success. So thank you a lot, and thanks to our listeners and viewers. And I would like to say have a great day, and see you soon in the next episode of this Disruption Talk. And thank you, Adi, for your time.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.